especially with such a huge and Hey geeks, welcome to my channel. I'm Trey Guillotine and you're watching Daily Marvels, where I give a few thoughts on some of the Marvel news that went on in the past week. We could be seeing a new Nick Fury. Marvel learns an important lesson from Doctor Strange. Marvel Studios is giving another Fantastic Four actor a second chance, and we might be seeing a new X-Men and Fantastic Four movie in 2021. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it around so others can join in the conversation. Actor Stephen Lang recently talked about his desire to play a specific character from the Marvel Comics. Specifically, he wants to play Nick Fury, but not the Nick Fury that we know in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and which many representations in the comics are actually inspired by Samuel L. Jackson. But he wants to play the original Nick Fury who fought with the Howling Commandos. And having seen the actor in a few other films, you might remember him from either Avatar, or if you saw the last of a Measure, which I think was like which was meant to be the first movie in a Civil War trilogy with Gettysburg, but the third movie never, or it was supposed to be a trilogy, but they only got 2 movies out. The third movie never came out. But he played Stonewall Jackson in Last of a Measure, and then he played basically the military bad guy in Avatar. I think he's a fantastic actor, and given the specific character of like that original Nick Fury, which is pretty much what the old movie where David Hasselhoff or Zardu Hasselfrau played Nick Fury in one of the old movies, basically wants to play that Nick Fury, and he says that was his favorite character in Marvel Comics. Or specifically says, I freaking loved Sergeant Fury's Howling Commandos, and to me it was like, I want to be Nick Fury. See, knowing the actor's performances, I think he could definitely pull this character off. However, given especially the state of Nick Fury in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't think that's something we'll ever see. It's very possible that they could make a origin story Nick Fury about Nick Fury's father, where you could play Nick Fury Sr., and then the Nick Fury we know is Nick Fury Jr., which, as I understand it, that's kind of how it is in the comics. There's like the original Nick Fury, and then the new Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury is like his son. So that's something that is entirely possible, and it would actually be really cool to see like the further adventures of the Howling Commandos with Sergeant Nick Fury Sr. with Stephen Lang as Nick Fury, but I don't think that's something that's going to happen. Also, I don't think it's something that should happen just from a public reception standpoint, to give Nick Fury an origin story but not have it be Samuel L. Jackson, just have it be Stephen Lang, the classic, a classic white guy playing a character that we know very well to be an African American. I think that would get a lot of backlash from the public. So I don't think that's something that we'll ever see. I don't think it's something that should happen. But if it did, personally, I think that would be something really cool to see. To really see like the original, a much different Nick Fury than the one we're accustomed to. It would be very new. It'd be really cool to see, since we can't see a lot of what happened between Captain America First Avenger and the present day MCU with Agent Carter, if we got to see a little more of that with Sergeant Nick Fury, that he's a Howling Commando, that he's with Dum Dum Dugan, and they're, saving the world, going on secret SHIELD missions as the Howling Commandos. I think that would be something really cool to see, but I don't think it's something that we'll ever see in reality. With the upcoming film Black Panther that has such a diverse cast, one of the producers for Marvel, One of the producers for the Marvel Studios, Nate Moore, actually talks about the lessons that they learned for Black Panther that they learned from Doctor Strange in the casting of the Ancient One. There was a lot of controversy about casting the Ancient One about casting Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, as it was taking a character who was of Asian descent in the source material in the comics, and then casting a white woman in the role. And don't get me wrong, Tilda Swinton, I think, did a great job in the role. She was a very strong character. She was funny. She was a lot funnier than I was expecting from that character, and I think she did a great job. But the fact remains that they pretty much enacted whitewashing by taking a character of Asian descent of another culture and making her white. The reason they gave for casting Tilda Swinton in the role of the Ancient One is because they wanted to avoid, or this is the reason they say, is because they wanted to avoid casting a stereotype of having, the wise ancient woman with ancient Chinese secret wisdom, and just have that stereotype be, implemented in that movie. But at the same time, that's the exact character that they created for Daredevil in Madame Gao. She's not a character, as far as I know, she's not a character from... Maybe she is. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't think she's a character from the original Daredevil or Defenders series. She's a character that was created specifically for Daredevil and then onto Iron Fist and Defenders, but that's the exact kind of stereotypical character that Marvel created in Madame Gao. So the actual quote that Nate Moore gives in regards to casting Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One in Doctor Strange, sometimes we step in it a little bit. I think the Ancient One in Doctor Strange was a lesson for us, and in trying to avoid a stereotype, we created an issue that we completely understood in hindsight, but we want to tell stories for everyone. We've always tried to find room for faces that look like everybody and not just homogenous casting. Panther obviously is a big swing, which we hope to continue through many, many sequels and take some of these characters and put them in even other franchises, because I do think there's a way to cross-pollinate in an interesting way. But it's also finding new heroes and new stories that allow us to do that organically. Looking at casting as a way to find the best actor or actress regardless of race or gender, frankly. So thankfully, it looks like Marvel has learned its lesson from Doctor Strange. So hopefully, going forward, especially with such a huge especially with Black Panther, such a huge cast of people of color, going forward, it's good that Marvel's learned this lesson. We could probably expect a more diverse cast in the future. So something that Marvel Studios has come to be known for is is kind of making the career of a lot of actors, but also giving actors a second chance. With Chris Evans, they gave the original Human Torch actor a second chance, and he became Steve Rogers, Captain America. Well, with Black Panther coming out, Michael B. Jordan, the second Human Torch actor, is being given another chance at a strong character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the villain in Black Panther of Killmonger. Already, his performance and characters have got a lot of really good reviews, so I'm looking forward to seeing what exactly it is that makes this character tick. But Michael B. Jordan is very thankful of Marvel to give him a second chance to finally get a comic book character right. In an interview, Michael B. Jordan says, "I looked at it as another shot to get it right, to do it again, and especially teaming up with the director of photography, Rachel Morrison again, and Ryan Coogler, it's a very comfortable space with me. It's a perfect space for me to take another risk like this, so it was no hesitation on my part." Thankfully, Marvel Studios is open to giving Human Torch actors another chance. And now that Marvel actually owns the rights again to Fantastic Four, we'll probably be getting a third Human Torch actor into the MCU sometime in the future. I think from what I've seen of Michael B. Jordan, again, this is another situation where Michael B. Jordan, I thought, as the character and in the film of Fantastic Four itself, I thought he was fine. I think he's a very talented actor. I think he has a lot of potential to do a lot of really great things. He has a couple movies coming out, like Fahrenheit 451, and then a Netflix series, Raising Dion, where he's not necessarily the main character, but I think he's one of the executive producers, and then he does have not so much cameo parts, but he has like a small part as Dion's father, who's passed away, sprinkled throughout the show. I do think he has a lot of really strong potential to be a really strong actor. I haven't seen Chronicle yet. It's a movie that's on my list to watch. But I'm glad that he is coming into the MCU and that he's getting the second chance to be from what I've seen of the trailers, he seems like he could be a really interesting and really cool character. So I'm interested to see Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger in Black Panther. So after Disney and Fox's deal, where Disney basically got the rights to a lot of Fox Entertainment, most importantly including the rights of Fantastic Four and X-Men back, basically giving Marvel Studios the rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men, Kevin Feige actually talked about the possibility of making a Fantastic Four movie and making an X-Men movie in the future. The truth of the matter, as I understand it, is the deal has to be figured out. There's been no communication, we're not thinking about it, we're focusing on everything you've already announced. If and when the deal actually happens, we'll start to think more about it. Until then, we have a lot to do. It would be years away. We've announced everything through 2019, so none of those would be adjusted. I think about it through 2019, through the movies already shot or are about to start filming. I'm hoping to deliver on everything we've promised thus far, which I think is a really great stance to have in the possibility of these future films. They have announced everything through 2019, so the fact that he's not really ready to adjust the schedule to fit X-Men and Fantastic Four is a good thing. I think it would be great that we actually get time to have those movies really thought out how to include them into the MCU, but the problem being is that when they got the rights to Spider-Man and they got to cooperate with Sony and Spider-Man in the MCU, they did change their schedule. They changed their schedule drastically. It's why we've waited so long for Black Panther. It's why we're waiting so long for Captain Marvel, is because they really wanted to get Spider-Man in there instead of waiting to get Spider-Man in after the movies they've already announced. Then again, Spider-Man's kind of their golden boy, so it makes sense that they would want to get Spider-Man in as soon as possible, especially in a movie, in a Civil War film, where in the original comics, Spider-Man has a huge role. His role in Civil War, in Captain America Civil War, not nearly as big, but still a pretty significant role. So once we get to the films that have already been announced, I would love to see if we start getting more information about what they plan to do with X-Men and Fantastic Four. What do you think of these daily Marvels? Let me know in the comments and follow me on all the internets, and let me know if there's any Marvel news that you'd like to talk about. You can check out my written reviews of Marvel TV shows and movies at TreyGuillotine.blogspot.com and subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching and have fun.